Hey guys, this is part 2. My first one was censored. So this one has been also. So I am trying to edit it to make it not so much censored. So let's see if this works out. Let's continue with the story. No matter how you look at it, it's not good. It's terrible for the family, and it's terrible for anybody that may have died that we don't know of. Because let's be real, if they would have went to, like if they just stopped in San Francisco and that was their end destination and they died, would anybody have heard of it? Of course not. It would have been like, oh, Cole died. Maybe there might have been a little blurb in their local thing or something. The family would know about it, and that's it. So there could very well be people dying, and we're not going to hear about it. Oh, mysterious family. Entire family dies of unknown whatever. You're not going to hear about it unless it's on your local station. That's why I comb through so many local channels, but it's so hard. It's so hard to do that. But I found another YouTube channel that put out something that I had not seen before. And it is Americans can benefit from Merck's Ebola vaccine. You know, I've been telling people, I'm like, this, it's not about the vaccine because we don't even have one yet. Well, technically we still don't. But they are giving it. We don't have an approved one. Let me say like that. May 23rd. This was actually just a couple days. Oh, I want to say Michelle and David passed away on the 25th. I'll put it down at the bottom of the screen if I'm wrong. So they put out this article. Merck V920 Ebola Zaire vaccine candidate is under study by the NIH at the Prepare study sites in Bethesda, Maryland. I always say Maine. And Atlanta, Georgia. So they are going to start giving, they've already started, if anybody was dumb enough to get it. So they go on to talk about there have been vaccine candidates have been deployed to over 111,000 individuals. This is the craziest part right here. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. It's the V920 vaccine is under study by the National Institute of Health in an open lab clinical trial entitled Pre-Exposure Prophylaxis in individuals with potentially occupational risks for Ebola, which is also called Prepare. So that would be nurses, doctors, anybody traveling to Africa at all, really, because they're now seeing there's possibly a case in Nigeria. So it's gone from one side of the DRC to the other, then to Uganda, and now very well in Kenya and Nigeria. This is the part that is, if you read this, like, there's no way I would get this, okay? It says, to achieve this goal, the Democratic Republic of the Congo's Ministry of Health, the World Health Organization, and other partners are offering the V920 investigational Ebola vaccine to priority populations. Sometimes when people write things, I don't know if they do it intentionally, if it's a Freudian slip, or who knows what. But they give you these little breadcrumbs or whatever. These little amazing things. Investigational. What does investigational mean? Well, That means something's being investigated and they need people to try it out so they can investigate. So this isn't something that's like, oh, let's try to prevent this happening. And so it is, they usually call it like pre-trial, or something along those lines. I'm forgetting the actual word, but or they'll say it's in stage 3 clinical trials. They don't call it investigational medication or vaccine. They don't call it that. And that gets me back to what's going on in San Antonio, where they have the private facility. Well, if they found a possible treatment of sorts, they're going to need people to test it on, right? Yeah. The thing about being private is you can't just put in a FOIA request to get the information. It's a private company. They can do essentially whatever they want. So that's why San Antonio. Not only that, I mentioned this in one of my other videos. Many people have gone on the record to say that they've seen these asylum seekers with rolls of $100 bills. So not only that, 90% of them didn't go back to their asylum court hearing. They were supposed to stay in the area and go to their asylum court hearing. 90% of them did not go. And they're running around the country now with $100 bills. And the information, I will put the video at the end that you can see how, let me see how to put this, check out this video in my video playlist, and you'll hear what I was saying in this video that I feel they may be censoring, so I cut it out. Absolutely false. Absolutely false. And this can be transferred by sweat. So you go ride on a bus, somebody's sweating all over it, go to the gym, whatever, or even rub up against somebody. That's why so many medical personnel have gotten infected with Ebola. Because it's that contagious. And let's just say that it's not airborne, which I 100% believe it is. There is a certain point that there's droplet precautions. So somebody coughing around you, or whatever, sneezing on a salad bar, or if they get a job. Let's say they get a job, Taco Bell or something, and they're making your food. And just why are they walking around with $100 bills if they're seeking asylum? Why? Doesn't that seem odd to people? Seems odd to me. All of this seems odd. None of it makes sense, except for one situation, if they're doing this purposely. If you haven't seen my other videos where I talk about the multiple quarantines that have been going on with prisons and schools and all of these things, and they're calling it measles, mumps, whatever, chicken pox, and now there's some monkey pox and all of these things going on. Border Patrol agents going on record saying that they are terrified, and some of them are not even going to work because they have no idea what they're going to get. And then we have this that was published June 13th. Is San Antonio prepared to treat Ebola? Well, that's strange. Ebola Zaire virus case fatality is about 67% in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And then they talk about the U.S. Border Patrol agents and them dropping off these Congolese and migrants. But we have another thing. They are now saying that they are only catching 50% of known, or 50% of cases. Just about 2 weeks ago, if you've been watching my videos, you know this, they were saying that that they weren't catching 25% of them, so they were catching 75% of them. And already, within a few weeks, they're already saying that no, it's actually only about 50%. So, they have a little over 2,000 confirmed diagnosed cases. About 1,700, it really has about, this strand has about 80 to 90% fatality rate. And if they're only finding 50% of these, from what they know, and there still is not a travel ban, not a travel advisory. Well, they are saying, hey, why don't you go ahead and get a booster vaccine or an Ebola shot. And not only that, we have something else. Remember when I talked about the World Health Organization not considering this a global crisis? You want to know the reason why they didn't consider this a global crisis? They've already met 3 times trying to get this labeled as a global crisis. I don't know how I looked over this, but the reason is shocking. The reason that they did not make this a global crisis is because of trade and the economy. They didn't want the economy to suffer if they labeled this a global crisis, because their neighbors in Africa, and then people, you realize there are clothing that you can buy on Amazon that are made in the Congo. And this being able to be spread by sweat, it was for trade, meaning the economy. They don't want people to, oh, well, we can't buy anything from that place or this place or that. That is the only reason. And if you want to hear that, look up this video right here. I don't want to play it because it'll get me a strike or something. And it's around the 3-minute 40-second mark. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And people just keep saying, oh, you don't need to worry about that. More people die of diarrhea than Ebola, or they die of this. Of course, that's absolutely true. There's more people that die of cancer. But you know what? When you are diagnosed with cancer or dehydrated or these things, they can treat you. Ebola, you get it, and 90% of them are dying. That is the big issue. And it only takes a couple people to get infected. I mean, there have been numerous cases where the one family member got the entire family sick and almost the entire family died. And with this not being published in mainstream media and them lying about it, that makes it even worse. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. Alright guys, I guess that's it. Sorry, I didn't want it to go that long, but there's just so much information and we only have a few channels even talking about it. And then people want to say, oh, that's BS, or oh, that's this. Okay, you don't have to believe it. You can call it whatever you want. monkeypox, some deer born, whatever. The mosquitoes that have been weaponized, whatever. Call it whatever you want. But people are dying of it at alarming rates. And they're more worried about the economy and all of these things. It's absolutely horrific. And like I've said in my other videos, I don't normally ever endorse anything, but due to this being so up in the air, we don't have a clue, the only thing we can do is prevention. And there is a product that I recommend getting. You just take a teaspoon or a tablespoon of it a day, and it will help prevent a lot of things. It's going to help with a lot of things. I can't say that this is going to prevent this, but from the tests that have been done officially, that's all I'll say. Again, I'm going to have that doctor on, and he'll be able to say as much as he can. And you can find videos of him, but I will have that link in the description. I mean, no, we can't put links in the description. In the first pinned comment. Also, with the insane amount of whatever, taking channels down and all of these things, I have all of my other platforms that I'm on, which is DLive, BitChute, blah, 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 on and on. Also, if y'all did not see, Bitcoin, like I told y'all weeks ago, I told y'all that I had just gotten into crypto because I saw the writing on the wall. And what did it do? It crossed over 10,000 yesterday and just kept going and kept going. There's going to be a little bit of a slide back because that's just how things are. But after that, it's going to go. I haven't even looked at it today. It's going to go up to where a year from now or any other, you're not going to be able to even afford to get much of anything. And you don't need $10,000 to get an entire Bitcoin. You just put in $100 or $1,000 or whatever, because even 0.1 of a Bitcoin in about 3 years is going to be worth a lot of money. And I know people are like, oh no, I can't do that. It might be the one world currency and all of this stuff. Well, if it was, then how come all of the big bankers are freaking out? They're freaking out because they can't regulate it, because they're not in control of it. A lot of people forget what happened before the crash, or right when the crash happened, back in the 30s. They took all the money. The banks took the money. All the money you had in your savings account was gone, because the big bankers, they weren't going to be just broke. They took everybody's money. So if another crash happens, which even in 2008, it happened. Anybody with over a certain amount in their account, they lost a bunch of their money. It's crazy. And people don't even talk about that. And so they don't want you to go put your money into Bitcoin because they can't regulate it. I'll have that link in the comments below. I use this Coinbase thing. It's so easy. You just use the link that I have and you just click on it and you do whatever, it's going to ask you for your information. Sign up. If you just have $50, put it in there now. I'm telling you. And I'm not selling you my Bitcoin, it doesn't benefit me any. Well, I mean, if you sign up under my thing, I'll get like $5 and you get $5 or something like that. But that's why a lot of people say gold. Oh, gold, silver, gold, silver. If gold and silver were worth so much, why are people selling you their gold for fiat dollars that is very, very likely to crash very soon? Why would they do that if it was so valuable? You think they're just that good of people? You can still go mine gold. Crypto is different. There's a set number, and that's it. And so when they get to that set number, like let's say it's a million Bitcoins. When they get to that, that's all. You can't just, like our fiat now, how they just keep printing it and keep printing it and keep printing it. They can't do that. Okay? And I'm not going to go into all that. I'm going to have Matrix Portfolio on here, and he's going to explain all that stuff to y'all. If you look up his channel, he has a lot of amazing knowledge. But you do